quorum. Candace,
All right.
you want to take roll?
Yep, I will go ahead and take care of that. We'll start with Commissioner Dixit,
Here and present.
Commissioner O'Reilly,
Here.
Vice Chair Lee,
Present.
Commissioner Buckholz,
Here.
Chair Cohen,
Here.
and we do have a quorum of 5 commissioners. We did know ahead of time that Commissioner Nagao and Commissioner Basiji would be unable to attend today.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Could we put that up on the screen, please? Hi, Lynette.
Hello.
Okay, ready, everybody? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Okay, are there any public comments that are not on the agenda, Jamie?
So I will give it just a moment. I do not currently see any hands raised, or for those that may not be comfortable using the raise hand feature on Zoom, if you wave your hand and let me know that you would like to speak on items not on the agenda. No, I think we're good at this time, Chair Cohen.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay, our first item for consideration are the minutes of the last meeting. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes? I know you studied them, you know, morning, noon, and night. I watched, even though I missed the meeting, I watched the meeting. I always like to watch the meeting, so I know exactly what's going on. So, does anyone have any comments about the minutes that they'd like to share with the group? Okay, let's see. I think, Jamie, there was one thing, but maybe it got corrected about the share and the care. Do you want to mention something about that?
Yes, so it should have been the Ride Care program, and so that was amended throughout the minutes before it was included in the packet. So that has already been adjusted.
Thank you very much. I didn't reprint them, but I knew we were going to do that. I just wanted to verify. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. The minutes are approved. I didn't abstain because I watched the whole meeting, so I figured I'd count. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see. The next item for consideration is a discussion about the sunshine calls. So, Jamie, are the staff going to start that discussion, or what would you like to do?
Yes, so this was based upon discussion at our January meeting, but I will share some basic information as far as where we were and what additional information we have. So at some of the previous meetings mentioned that during the pandemic, our staff actually did some outreach to our membership during the pandemic to make sure that our senior community members had access to resources. And I will say that our front office lines were actually turned into resource lines so that if people had questions or concerns or needed information, we provided that resource. The calls actually continued. There was a small grouping of seniors that requested ongoing calls. That number has dwindled a little bit now that things are much better. It's probably in the realm of 5 seniors that we still continue to call on a regular basis, but obviously with our current staffing levels, that's what we're able to maintain at this point. There was at least the commission seemed to express an interest in getting more information. So Commissioner Buckholz actually provided us with a contact of a organization that actually does something of this nature. So our staff has actually reached out and we've gotten some additional information on the program. We're actually just waiting to get some additional pricing information from this particular vendor, but essentially the program itself, it's quite involved, at least in a sense where the individuals that choose to participate actually get something similar to an iPad. And so it allows the connectivity on their end to be able to connect to various resources, whether it's, exercise or connecting to an individual. So we're waiting to get some additional information, but I know the commission wanted to I wanted to share that information then to see what other thoughts or ideas that the commission had as we continue to explore this this element.
Mari?
Yes, thank you, Jane. Jamie, when in the last meeting, when I had asked about the sunshine calls, my whole intent was to be able to open up the small group of Indian seniors that I work with to this kind of an opportunity. And perhaps it was my misunderstanding or maybe my understanding of one aspect, but I had thought that sunshine calls would basically allow us to be able to call from the community center, from the city's resources, to numbers that have opted for a call in. So somebody calling in to say, well, how are you doing today? Is your health good? Are you enjoying the sunshine? Just a little bit of, a touch of communication with somebody who's been asking for it. I think that the people that I work with would appreciate that. And I might get some people to sign up both ways, to receive calls and to get the training to send out calls. But I didn't want the training to be given so that they would call from their home. That I didn't want to do. I wanted the training to be given so that they'd know how to deal with somebody at the other end. If somebody says that they're not feeling well, then not to give out some herbal tea advice, but point them to the right direction or to a good resource that would probably be helpful. So those are the kinds of things that I was thinking about. And I don't know if the scope of this vendor that we talk would touch upon those. So mine was perhaps a little more grassroots in both my understanding as well as in what I was trying to achieve.
No, so to your point, and I think that's an important clarification, is that we, as I mentioned earlier, the current staffing levels that we have, obviously expansion of what we're currently doing, it probably would not be feasible at this point, which is why I think we were initially looking to see if there was another option that would still allow that kind of connection. To what you have described as far as having volunteers or things of that nature, I think that would require a little bit more exploration to see what is possible or feasible. And maybe that is something that, because the organization that we've reached out to, they, I think, have a host of individuals that do, I think having those conversations are a component of the program that they offer. And so, maybe that is something that if there is interest, now, obviously we're not in a position, or we haven't reached that point where we're actually working with this particular vendor. We're just getting information at this point. So I think there's a little bit more exploration that would be required. And so I think that's something that we could take a look at as we continue to explore.
Bill, you had your hand up?
Yes, my intention, Jamie, calling your attention to this program is that it just stimulates the idea of how this very, very essential program can be managed. I've been looking at something that is well in the news, Chat GTP, as a possible way of understanding things by using their database, which, by the way, it only goes up to 2021. There's no data after that. And in doing that, I came across a woman who is using this for similar sunshine calls. When I read her paper, most of it was calling attention to the difficulties, HIPAA not even the least. The idea that this is possible to do as a substitution for a human being seems clearly eliminated, at least in the data I got. Using this AI program to gather information about what services are needed in the community, how to create an avatar that represents the demographic, as if that avatar is asking a question of how they can cope with loneliness. The answers I got were very straightforward, no rocket science whatsoever with this, but it was instructive to see how often all the things that we've already thought of, at least we don't have artificial intelligence, we've got our own intelligence, and it seems to be working pretty well. So anybody who would be interested in exploring this AI program and what it could possibly offer for age-friendly cities and just the community, I'd be happy to talk with them because I don't know much about computers.
Thank you for sharing that with the group. Appreciate that. I think it's in its infancy, and I think we're going to have it on the back burner for a while. That's my opinion. I'd like to see what Annabelle says about all of that before we start, you know, going here and there until we have a structured format for how we're going to proceed. So to go off on AI right now, for me personally, I don't want to do that.
My intention is just to see what's possible.
Exactly.
It
And
will
that's
never-
always on the front burner. That's always on the front burner. Yeah.
and instead of, but possibly a hobby in addition to what Annabelle can do. That is, if we get the money.
Yeah. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, I think we should be on the cutting edge, and this is certainly in the news like morning, noon, and night right now. So, it goes beyond the term papers in college.
Yeah.
It's got a big spread right now. So it's just in it, for me, it's in its infancy, and I just want to see how it emerges. Does anyone else have any comments about that? We're just going to wait and see then. Okay, Bill?
Yeah,
How about-
so as we move forward, as we get additional information and obviously Commissioner Dixit, to your questions, as we get more information, we'll see what is possible, but myself and staff will keep the commission abreast as we make progress and get additional information.
Thank you. We ready to move on to the next topic? The work plan? Does everybody have a copy of the work plan? We really haven't changed anything since we changed the support sunshine calls. in the community support and healthcare services domain. There, as far as I guess, as I know, there's been no changes since then. Is that correct, Jamie?
That is correct. This is kind of an outstanding item that I know early on the commission asked that this remain as a topic to make sure that the assignments, the subcommittees are all working well. Obviously, we're in a little bit of a holding pattern until we get some additional direction. I know we're kind of chomping at the bit here, hopefully hoping to get some movement going here. But I think with a lot of the recent changes, obviously the most recent one that Chair Cohen mentioned, which was the supporting sunshine calls, there are no additional changes to the work plan at this time.
Okay, since it's one of our items, does anyone have any additions or any corrections that they want to make to the work plan at this point, or are we going to let it stand the way it is right now? Everybody good with it for right now? Okay, then let's move on. Okay, the next category are informational items, and the first item is the grant program current programming, and we're going to receive an update from the Adult 50 staff. Who's going to provide that for us?
Yeah, so I'll introduce Cherry Anderson. So from the last meeting, if you recall, there were some questions in regards to what current programming is going on down at Grant Park. And there were also a few questions. So our Recreation Coordinator Cherry Anderson will be providing a brief update on what the current programming is, and then I will address some of the questions in regards to future and how that will outline. But with that, I will turn it over to Cherry.
Hi, Cherry, thanks.
Hi, Jane. Thank you, Jamie, and hello, commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you what we're doing down at Grant Park. Just to bring you up to date on something new, we've just started a new class or an activity entitled Jam Session. And that entails people coming together and playing musical instruments. And that occurs on Mondays. A lot of our programming has taken place on Mondays now. That's starting to open up more, where we have, what we've had all along is chess. We have chess play, we have bridge play. What we're doing with bridge play at Grant Park as well as at LACC is we're recruiting, in a sense. We're trying to rally people to come together to play bridge. It's been kind of like a slow approach to coming back to in person. And so a lot of our bridge players who we know used to fill up both rooms at Grant Park as well as Los Altos Community Center have just started coming back. So we're really working more on focusing on the Grant Park location, where we have actually 2 tables in room 4 with new chairs there, by the way. We've gotten some furniture in there recently, some very nice sturdy chairs that will be utilized for the card playing area, as well as we have new desks for the staff to work from. So room 4 is starting to have a little bit of a new, nice look to it as well. But back to programming. So we're looking at trying to get more bridge players out. And so far it's working, where we're having them give us their information. We compile the information, and then we contact those folks who are interested in playing bridge. We also have our new pickleball program down at Grant Park that we're just launching. It's where if you're a member, as you know, we started our membership program, and this month we're having a membership drive at both sites, and we're having a nice return on that, nice show up for that. But if you are a member, you can borrow the equipment, the pickleball net and racket and ball, and go out to the basketball court down at Grant Park. And you can bring a guest or 2 or 3 and play pickleball. No, we won't have instruction down there, but this is mainly for those who know how to play the game, I suppose, and those who want to learn how to play. You can ask your friend who's a member to show you how to play the game. But we do have pickleball instruction at the Egan gym site. Also, we have ping pong down at Grant Park, and that has expanded to the Los Altos Community Center as well. As we all know, the program is growing, but we've been having ping pong now for since this program started, or we opened back up back in 2021. And then we have our conversation group with Jack Truer, and that's still going strong on Monday mornings. And I'm sure Commissioner Kevin can attest to that it's going pretty well. We also have our fitness, dance, and fun program that you can come. Sometimes that's online with Sochi, and then Sochi Madrigal, excuse me, and sometimes she comes in person. Right now she's doing online. And then we also have on Wednesdays, we have our stretching and walking with Eleanor. That's a very popular program. We have a good 20, 30 people coming out for that, and that's outside normally. And then we have our dance exercise with Bob, and that usually happens after afternoon, after lunch, or after speakers. We also have speaker presentations, things like that going on down at Grant Park. We've collaborated with the library, and they're now bringing the bookmobile back to our program. And at Grant Park, it's going to be there again this coming 11th, Wednesday the 11th, where they're going to bring books. If you wanted to get CDs, things like that, get your library card, a new library card, they're going to be there for you. And so we're also having different presentations by the City Council, Lynette Ng, who brings different discussions to Grant Park. And we've collaborated with her on that. We have our Mahjong program that's there on Wednesdays. You can learn to play as well as have free play. And that's pretty much what we have going consistently down at Grant Park, but we're also adding as we go. When people want to come in and volunteer for us, they will volunteer to teach or bring together a group so that they can participate, the group can participate, and we're always open for new suggestions. So that's what we have currently. Are there any questions?
Do you
Yes.
consider the lunch program that we're having at Grant Park part of this discussion that you're giving right now, or waiting for later to talk about the meal that we're having at Grant?
Oh, I can wait until later because
Okay, thanks.
I did announce that at the last meeting that we now have a lunch program again. Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Bill?
What is the attendance? How many people come currently to the various activities that you've described?
I'd say the numbers are pretty consistent at 20 to 30 people. For lunch program, we have up to 40, and now we've expanded.
No,
50.
not the lunch program, but
Yes.
Mahjong, bridge.
Mahjong, we have
I mean, you've listed a lot of them.
yes.
If you looked at the maximum that were attending pre-COVID, what percentage of it is being filled now?
I say with Mahjong, 75%, 80%, because they're down there, we have at least 2 tables going, sometimes 3. That means 4 to a table. So we're saying anywhere from 12 to 15 or 16 people coming. We're looking at the discussion group. We're looking at about 8 to 10 attending that. So, and then the exercise class that Eleanor does, we're looking at 20, 30 people every week who attend that. As far as the jam session, that's a new, but we had 6 people attend. And then when it comes to the different presentations, we have people who are coming from the exercise classes. So we'll have anywhere from 8 to 15 to 20 people at our different presentations.
Great.
All in all, it's a good attendance. It's been, I'd say, commendable for us opening back up, but it's a slow process, I believe, for both locations where people are coming back slowly, feeling more confident about being in person.
Do you think it is the issue of the COVID that basically dampens the flow of people to come in?
It seems that way, yes.
How about the visibility of the program? I know that I've brought Spotlight to various organizations. I dropped 25 at my physician's office, and they were very interested in it. So they're going to hand it out to their patients, many of whom are of my peer group. So it should be senior heavy. Has there been any?
As far as visibility, it's still a work in progress, I'll say. We are doing a lot of word of mouth. The word is getting out. As far as the Spotlight, we get that out at several locations, and thank you for your work in getting it out even farther and more to the community. But it's a work in progress, I'll say. But it is starting to happen. People are, a year later after we've opened, we've had people today, I mean, signups for membership have been phenomenal. We've had people coming in every day now that we're open to sign up for membership. At least 3 to 4 people are coming a day.
Well, just on a personal basis, I'm still actively considering returning for more lessons. I went for the pickleball lessons, and I found that my muscle memory is lost.
Well, I will make it more fun for you the next time. That was a little more formal. I'll make it a little more fun.
And Chair Cohen, Councilmember Lee Ing has her hand raised.
Oh, Lynette, please.
Thank you.
go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We are all trying to get the word out, but we want to make sure that Los Altos Hills knows that their members are more than welcome to attend the Grant Park Senior Program as well. This is a wonderful program that many in Los Altos Hills is not familiar with. In our prime heyday on Wednesdays, we used to have 60 to 70 people attending. And, you know, we are trying to generate that attendance again. So I know they might, we, at that time as well, we used to have people coming from Cupertino, Palo Alto, and Los Altos Hills coming to the Grant Park program. So we are trying to get the word out. So as much as possible, we are encouraging all commissioners to send emails out to their friends, letting them know that we are back and in progress of energizing our programs once again. So if they are more than welcome to attend, and we welcome their participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, well,
Okay.
thank you, Cherry, for sharing that. And the next part, the other question that was raised at the last commission meeting is kind of the future. As you heard, Cherry listed off quite a robust listing of different programs and opportunities that Grant and she highlighted just a little bit that is also available at the community center as well too. But there's quite a bit of robust programming down at Grant Park. And so future, obviously, as we look to continue to build what we're currently doing, as Cherry mentioned, as suggestions and ideas come in, we can look and see to continuing to build the program. But ultimately down the line, there is a hope to update our Parks and Recreation Master Plan, which in and of itself, that will be a holistic overview of not only facilities, but on the programming side as well. So not just looking at one facility, but everything within the community. So that's something that is in line in the next few years, I think, in the capital improvement projects that we'll be looking at doing. So there's more to come, at least on the future side, but is just highlighting what Cherry said. Always looking if there are suggestions or other ideas to share that with myself and Cherry, and then we can look to see what might be possible and feasible. Commissioner Dixit, it looks like you have your hand raised.
Yes.
Yes, I have a quick question following up the announcements from Sherry as well as Lynette. When we open up memberships, as we have for the Los Altos Community Center, is the same membership valid for both Los Altos Community Center and Grant Park?
That is
Yes.
correct.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. And if so, can we make this process of getting memberships easier? Because at this point, when I looked into it, you have to have an account, and getting that account is difficult. For my group, I find that the sign-up sheets that we sign up on every time we do come to the center to meet, that has been very easy. And so if we could sign up, pay up, and before they leave that meeting, they become members. If we can have something of that set up in motion, it would be really very easy for me to bring in many more members.
No,
If you can think of that and work on it.
sure. No, I appreciate the suggestion, Commissioner Dixit, and maybe that is something that we can work together on to facilitate making the process easier. Obviously, there are some requirements. Obviously, the platform is what we are currently using to facilitate the membership side of it. So that part won't necessarily go away, but we can look and see what might be feasible to at least make the understanding or the process a bit easier for those that want to sign up.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
Sure. Yep, go ahead, Cherry.
May I add that what we do for ease of those who don't necessarily want to get online or are having difficulty with getting online, we actually have in the office a form that you can fill out, and we will help you create your account. That's part of what our whole membership drive is about. You come into the office, we sit down with you, and we get you started with the program, and then we give you a bag of candy for coming in and signing up.
Great. Thank you very much. Any other comments about this? Thank you, Cherry. Thank you. Okay, the next item are the Grant Park improvements. And we're going to receive a report from city staff.
Yep, that's me again. I apologize. You get to hear me talk a lot, but hopefully I'm sharing some helpful information for everyone. So as far as where we are, I wanted to let the commission know that the Grant Park project, which had those three things that we've been looking to add to the facility, which is obviously increasing the electrical load, so improving electrical to actually get air conditioning, providing HVAC to the facility, and then obviously hot water. That project itself has been actually, what I've been updated with is that it's been assigned to a project manager within the city. And the first part is the electrical load. And what I wanted to let you know is that whenever electrical loads are increased at a certain site, we do have to work directly with PG&E. So that process has been started. For those that, and I learned a little bit through the process with the, obviously the Hillview, or not Hillview, Los Altos Community Center, it was Hillview before. The process with working with PG&E sometimes takes a little bit of time, but we've started that process. So it is in motion. And so I will keep you abreast as we get some updated information and deadlines from PG&E. But we are on our way to getting that project off the ground. So happy to answer any questions, but I know it's at least a step in the right direction with having a project manager and getting that the electrical piece going at this point. So I hope to have more information in the hopefully weeks and months to come, but I will keep the commission apprised as we continue to move forward with these projects.
Any questions for Jamie? Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much. The next are flyers, receive informational flyers. So,
Yep, so I will go ahead and kick us off, and then I'll turn it over to Chris with the Town of Los Altos Hills. So the first one you'll note is that we do have some current hiring opportunities or employment opportunities. We're currently looking for additional assistance in our preschool program. And then our adult and adult 50+ programs. So we do have those two opportunity. They are part-time. So if you know any individuals, please feel free to share that hiring flyer. There is a QR code and obviously the website listing. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to apply for those that are interested. But we would love to have additional assistance in those two programs. So we're looking for energetic individuals that would like to be a part of the community and be a part of our team. And then we are also included a copy of the January-February spotlight. So that is just obviously a physical representation of some of the programs that Cherry happened to highlight during the Grant Park report out. But obviously there's a whole page on the membership, which we're really excited that has come back, and there's been really strong interest in that. And then lots of the other ongoing programs, obviously highlighting the movies at the community center, pickleball, ping pong, all of those programs have actually been, and obviously the lunch as well too. So just looking to get that information out. And then with that, I will actually turn it over to Chris in Los Altos Hills.
Thanks. Do you all copy?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So in your flyer packet, you will see an upcoming program presented by Santa Clara County Fire Community Education and Outreach. Are you prepared for a medical emergency? That's happening this Thursday, February 9th at 11 a.m. at Town Hall Council Chambers. A real handy website where you can explore lots of programs that the county does as part of their community outreach is Eventbrite, Santa Clara County Fire Department Eventbrite. You'll find plenty of things to do there. And they're coming to Los Altos Hills this week. Next up is a very popular program for all demographics, is our Los Altos Hills Drive-Through Shred event. I'll just note that it's for Los Altos Hills residents only. You can bring three bags of documents that will be responsibly destroyed and then recycled in an environmentally safe way. So that's March 18th, Saturday at the Town Hall parking lot. And Jamie, that's it from Los Altos Hills today.
so
All right.
Commissioner Dixit, can we bring all our stuff up to your house and you'll bring it through Los Altos Hills shredded for us? I noticed that right away. You need a residency to go to that program, so. Yeah. But we're not having residency requirements for our program, so I'm wondering what the disparity is. Can someone address that for me?
Exactly my question, because the Los Altos Flatland is completely universally open to the hills, whereas events like the shredding and some other things, I don't recall the details, were kind of closed. And so what's up with this?
You don't have to answer it today if you want to think about it.
Yeah, let's record it in the minutes. I will say that it's a vendor that that also you'll see these trucks beep bopping around all of the streets in all the South Bay and the peninsula. I will look into it.
Thank you.
If I remember it correctly, I wanted to mention the opposite side because I remember that Los Altos has a vendor that allows composting bins to be given freely to all their customers in Los Altos, and Los Altos Hills does not have this. So I was eyeing that very very anxiously to wonder when our vendor will give us composting bins.
So we have an
it works
issue
both.
here. We don't want to do a tit for tat, but let's look into it. Because we want to be sharing as much as we can and collaborating between the two cities.
Just
Thank you.
mentioning.
Thank you for bringing that up. Anybody else have anything to comment about that? Okay, thank you, everybody. So we're moving on to another grouping of topics. Commissions and subcommittee staff, commission, subcommittee, staff oral reports, and requests for future agenda. That's like 4 different things. So does the commission as a whole have anything to report to the group right now? Bill?
Yes, I attended a county-wide Zoom meeting last week. Of the 15 cities, all of them either were up to date on their recertification or actively in that process. They all had very strong on the ground, getting stuff done activities. I was so embarrassed.
The age friendly you're talking about?
Age friendly.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed and ashamed of what our commission, our city has been doing with getting now 10 years overdue recertification. I know that I personally, I've been on the commission, I guess, since 2019. And I've been doing research, active research, since March of 21, after we just had rolling the recertification, no activity whatsoever. And I'm kind of disappointed in what we've been able to do. And I don't know the causes. The causes are myriad. But we need to get our act together.
Bill, does anybody have any comments? I want to make a comment, but does anyone else want to address his comments? Well, I understand what you're saying. However, we can't look back, we have to look forward, and we're looking forward to this issue being brought up at the February 14th meeting, is it, Jamie? The council meeting, where they're going to, it's going to be presented to them whether we get funding or not for our consultant to help lead the charge. If we get the funding, once we do get the funding, then we're going to move forward. So I think we need to just give it that 1 more month. We were hoping to know now, but it's been delayed 1 more month. So I'm really hoping, I'm very hopeful that we're going to find out as soon as the council meets and make a decision. And then we know where we stand at that point. So, bemoaning it now for me, I mean, I don't like the feeling of the whole thing either, because we could have started this 6-8 months ago or a year ago. But anyway, what are we going to do about that? We just have to go forward and just hope and pray that we get funded, because we are anxious. We're chomping at the bit to do the work, and we want to work with staff, and we want to help as much as we can to do everything we can to make it happen for us. So that's the way it is right now.
Well, let me add a little bit of information. ARP also has a fund for helping the cities recertify. And they have
Who did you say had a fund?
AARP. And there are other sources of grants and so forth. So since I am a firm believer in not spending anything until it is actually in my hand or a bank account, as far as I'm concerned, we're broke. And we need to start looking other directions, because the city, which we have been trying to get, and Parks and Rec, there was a period of time when that seemed to be certainly a stepchild on the agenda for Parks and Recreation. We need to look at other venues and other resources so that we can get the job done. Now, I have the advantage of being a solo practitioner, so I didn't have to walk very far to talk with the boss about getting something done. And so my tolerance for bureaucratic delay is small.
We hear you, we hear you. And we did discuss approaching the Rotarians and one other group. I remember we did have this discussion, but we were really counting on the council to come forward in a more timely manner than they've been able to. I get they have their reasons why they haven't been able to, but anyway, you know, poor Lynette's sitting there, and it's not her fault. And she's going to hear our request at their next council meeting, and then we're going to find out the results right after that. It's just going to be a few weeks. And then after that, you know, if they delay us or they might say no, then we know, well, maybe they don't want us to do it. That's one thing. Maybe they don't. Or maybe they do, but they don't have the money. There's a lot of reasons, but let's wait and find out.
Yes, thank you, Jane, if you don't mind me commenting. You're right. We did have more items that were pressing and we had to prioritize. As you all aware, the housing element was our top priority. And we were successfully submitting it on time. And that is, should have been and is the foremost priority that we had. And we were successful at doing that. So we look forward at receiving your report, the report at the next meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that for us. Thank you.
It
Okay.
doesn't get anywhere close to what we need to be trumped, if you excuse the expression, by other things that legitimately are more timely. But there has to be other ways of doing things, because all the other 14 cities are doing that, whether the funds come from the city council or not.
I hear your frustration. I really do. And I'm
sorry,
sure, I'm
how much
sure all of us hear the
frustration?
frustration. We have all felt it. But, you know, I don't know what else to say except, you know, we just have to wait these extra few weeks and then we'll make other decisions. Okay?
Let it be so, from your lips to God's ears.
To city council's ears. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, so we have quite a few subcommittees, all the domains from Age Friendly. And do any of the committees have any report that they'd like to make? Any subcommittees, any reports today?
So I actually do have one to share on behalf of the Communication and Information. Unfortunately, both of those commissioners are not present, but Chair Nagao asked that I share a brief report on her behalf. So let me bring that up really fast so that I can give you that information. So I had a very good meeting with Commissioner Nagao. And some of the things that she asked to highlight is, number one, she actually picked up 50 spotlights and worked to distribute those throughout the community. And that actually included the Walgreens on 2nd Street. There was a rack inside there that she was able to post a few. She actually also brought some to both the Woodland and Maine Los Altos Library. They were very open to sharing that information. And then she actually was just out and about and happened to hand out a few on Hillview, actually at the local dog park. She was walking through and had some with her, and there were 2 individuals that wanted information. They will also be sharing some information with the History Museum as well. And then she's doing a test. There are some of the little libraries throughout the community. She actually did put a few in, and she's going to go back to see if anyone actually took some of the spotlights out. So she definitely did quite a bit to try and get the current spotlight in various places throughout the community. The 2 other targets, which the American Legion is currently under renovation. Once they reopen, I think she was planning to distribute a few more there. And then eventually, which I did share, the city always has a table at the farmers market, and there are a variety of opportunities to table information. So that will be a future opportunity because the farmers market is usually in the May to October timeframe. So these were all elements that she was looking in the future as opportunities to get information out about the programs and Spotlight. And then as we kind of talked about, she's going to continue to look at churches, other doctors' offices, restaurants. So she'll be taking a look at other pieces. I did look into some information because she wanted to see if there were other free avenues, which there are through the town crier and the Chamber of Commerce. So I will be sharing that information. There is a person that you can contact, and there are some opportunities to list free events or programs, or even paid. Obviously, it is dependent upon space. But I will share that with that subcommittee and also to our staff so that we can continue to have the opportunity to get information about our programs and services out into the community. And then also to looking to reconnect with Club 55 as well, because they have some activities usually in downtown. So those were all elements that the subcommittee communications and information has either done or is looking at doing for the future. And that was on behalf of Commissioner Nagao.
Thank you, Jamie, for giving that report for them. Appreciate that. Are there any other reports from any subcommittees? Okay. So let's see. The next thing are we have future agenda items, but that's usually last after the staff reports, isn't it, Jamie?
I was muted. We have staff reports next.
Right. Okay. Los Altos want to go first, or?
Yes, I will go ahead and go first. And it was been mentioned in the subcommittee reports, but our request for funding for Age Friendly is included in the mid-year budget requests, which will be under consideration for City Council next Tuesday, February 14th on Valentine's Day. So we will find out shortly thereafter. And I'm hoping to share good news with the commission about funding, but that is included in our Parks and Recreation mid-year request. And so hopefully we'll be able to share some good news there, but we are on target for February 14th. Additionally, on February 14th, City Council will actually be discussing the future of council and commission meetings. So as you all know, the emergency order through the state is slated to come to an end at the end of February. And so the council will be discussing what that means for public body meetings. And so at the moment, City Council is in a hybrid mode, and obviously has some in-person elements as well as online elements too. The meetings are obviously available through Zoom, like we are at the moment. So at the February 14th meeting, council will be looking at what that will look like for commissions going forward after February. It's anticipated that there will be some form of in-person starting in March, but the details of what that will look like will be determined after the discussion at council on February 14th. So once additional information is available, I will share that with the commission. But obviously we are still fully virtual for this meeting in February. And once we know the direction for March, we will share that with all the commissioners so that we can be prepared for our March 6th meeting. But more information to come after next Tuesday. The next one, there were some questions about the cafe space at the community center. And what I wanted to let the commission know is that for fairness and transparency, we will have to do a competitive process to find out what vendors might be interested in that space. So with that information, we are going to look to maybe start that process in the next few months. Parks and Recreation has quite a few projects in process. So that will be an additional one that we will look, because we have been getting quite a bit of interest in patrons here at the community center interested in the cafe or that opportunity. So we do know that that is of interest for those that are coming to the center. So we are going to be adding that, and it will need to be a competitive process. The next one is also winter registration. We are in the middle of our winter season that started back in January. It will go through March. So if you are interested, obviously the spotlight highlights the activities for adult 50+, but for the community and all ages, we have a variety of different offerings. So check out our website for additional classes or events that you might be interested in. And that is it for me or at least for Parks and Rec General. I will turn it over to Cherry to see if she has anything else additionally for the Adult 50+ program.
Thank you again. What I did promise that Commissioner Jane was mentioning about the lunch program. The lunch program is going strong. It's actually expanding down at Grant Park. We're expanding it to 50 participants, and at LACC, we're expanding it to 40 because, as you know, we've had to have a wait list. And so to answer that call, we've expanded the program. For this week's luncheon, which is going to be at Grant Park on Wednesday, we're going to have a wonderful menu with vegetable for vegetarians. We have vegetables. And then for those who eat meat, we have the chicken, lemon chicken. And we have a wonderful catering service that is providing these nutritious meals for us right now, hot meals. And at Grant Park, they'll be individually packaged, but as you know, they will be delicious. And so that's one thing that we are finding and getting good responses from. I did fail to mention that Scott Cady is one of our presenters, and he's been presenting the Real Pirates of the Caribbean, and he's going to be doing that in a series. And so he returns again at Grant Park on Wednesday as well. And that's pretty much, I'm sorry, we have the Santa Clara Fire Department who is going to be coming to us on February 15th, and they're going to be doing fall prevention and wellness as well at LACC. And that'll be at 11 a.m. to 12 in our Sycamore room. So that's pretty much all that I can add to what we already discussed earlier. So we invite you to come out. Oh, and let me just add too for Commissioner Buckholz, it was really a joy seeing you come out to pickleball. And we are going to continue doing that as well. That program is really growing. So
I appreciate you not laughing directly at me.
It was really hilarious, right? Is that what you meant to say, right?
it was really fun. It was a good time. So I look forward to more of that. So thank you.
Let it be so.
Thank you, Cherry. And I'll turn it over to Chris to see if.
Shamari had her hand up.
Oh,
Excuse me.
yeah,
Commissioner
sorry about
Thank
that.
you.
Dixon.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention to Sherry that in our usual 50+ group activity for Tuesday, the 14th of February, we will be celebrating a very Indian Valentine's Day at the center, and everyone is welcome to attend. So
Will Krishna be there?
Krishna is always there, always there. We'll sing Bollywood songs and invite him over. But I've sent an email to Sherry and Mary Jo, so thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Dixit. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chris for more updates from Los Altos Hills.
Thanks, Jamie. I'll report that no additional info or announcements from the town of Los Altos Hills today.
Oh, it looks like Councilmember Tyson has his hand raised.
Well, I didn't have a chance to introduce myself earlier. I'm the new representative. I've been assigned by the City Council of Los Altos Hills. And so I've been assigned to this group. So I wanted to say hello to everybody. I've been on City Council 4 years. I was just re-elected to another 4 years. And back long ago, I was a committee chair for Boy Scout Troop 75, which met at Grant Park. I had that job for 5 years back a few years ago. In terms of just to sort of capture some things you were saying for Los Altos, we as a city council are going back to meeting in person starting with March 1st, yet we will still allow remote attendees, but we on the city council will be there in person, or we'll follow the old Brown Act rules in terms of posting and all that. And we also just issued a notice to all of our committees that they expect the committee members to meet in person, although they will also have the opportunity to have attendees and visitors meet remotely. So that's a little bit of the update from here.
Thank you very much, and thank you for introducing yourselves. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Okay, so I think that's the staff oral reports. How about future agenda items? Well, we're going to discuss, well, depending on what the city council, my first item, it can be in any order, is the result of the city council decision about the age friendly. So can we put that on?
You bet.
All right. Like what happens next, or where do we go from there? Okay, what else do we have?
We should plan on really doing some planning of how to accelerate the process. We need to have, if the funding goes to CAFE, then the focus groups need to be formed. And so we have to keep ourselves involved in figuring out who would be appropriate for being on a focus group. So I would assign that as homework for all of us.
I'd like to see us meet with Annabelle first and get things laid out in a very structured way. I don't think we should be off forming focus groups. That might not be the first step.
Candidates.
I'm sorry?
Candidates. We're not forming a focus group. There are people who may wish to be involved in this. And I think at least if somebody wants to serve in this fashion, that we should at least nominate them for the people who are making the decisions.
Thank you. Yes. Lynette, do you have a hand up? or-
Yeah, I think you are getting into discussion matter and you might want to agendize for discussion. So just a reminder.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What other topic areas do we want on the agenda? Well, it'll be the meetings, because the meetings, the type of meetings are going to be decided also on the 14th. So we'll be planning or at least discussing how we're going to formulate our meetings from now on, whether they're all in person. Something about that? I don't know. We need that, but what else do people have in mind? Nothing? I think it's to be understood that if more information becomes available, Jamie, from, for example, the Grant Park, the electrical, if there's more news to share, then you'll just be sharing that in your staff report. So we don't have to really agendize that.
No, absolutely, unless there needs to be further discussion, which absolutely as staff, we can work with you as the chair to make sure that that's brought forward to the commission. But I will absolutely continue to include updates on all of those topics in my staff report as well.
Thank you. Any other notions or ideas about agenda items? Okay, well, I think that we have accomplished our goals, been through our agenda, and I would like to adjourn the meeting. And I see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.